Hello, and thanks for joining us today. Rihanna at Dior, Zendaya and J-Lo at Schiaparelli. The stars flock to Paris for the January fashion weeks. Well, joining me in the studio to talk about some of the fashion highlights from Haute Couture Week is fashion journalist Louis Pisano. Hello.
Hi, Eve. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Now, you, over the past 2 weeks, have been to something like more than 20 fashion shows. Haute Couture is, of course, the age-old tradition of producing crazily priced, made-to-measure clothes for the world's richest women. You're going to tell us about some of the highlights, starting with the Schiaparelli show.
Oh my God. So personally, I love Schiaparelli. Daniel Roseberry, he is a genius at what he does. He brings, he really embodies the house codes that Elsa Schiaparelli created. But he brings with it sort of this sort of new intellectualism with it, and also makes it very fun in pop culture.
And at this Chanel show, because we've got to talk about the big classical French houses, and we saw the Poor Things actress Margaret Qualley on the catwalk in a frilly, pretty and girly collection. Was it a dreamy show for you?
For me, Chanel, this era of Chanel under Virginie Viard is a hit or a miss sometimes for me. Personally, you know, my opinion doesn't actually matter because the clients seem to love it. When you look at the sales numbers, Virginie Viard said that she was inspired by dance, and that's what we saw with the sort of tutu jacket and the lots of pairs of leggings everywhere. So yeah, I think that a lot of the clients will love it. I think it'll, you know, it'll look amazing on, you know, people that have the money to spend it.
Exactly. And at the Dior show, there were so many stars. This video of Natalie Portman and Rihanna having a love-in has gone crazy on the socials. Take a look.
Excuse me, can I interrupt you and tell you that I have a skipping I love you. Are you kidding me?
You are one of the hottest bitches in Hollywood forever. You do the most innocent look, and I'm like, ah!
I'm gonna black out. I love you, and I listen to your music all the time, and I just such a queen. Thank you.
Can somebody take a picture?
Oh my God,
Let's go for a queen shot. A queen shot.
Oh my God.
That video has been causing a right old buzz. Talk about the clothes on the catwalk, though. Did you like the Dior show?
Yes, I actually like Dior. You know, it was very simple, very pared down. But as you can see here, Maria Grazia was working with a fabric called moire. She was inspired by a 1958 Christian Dior collection in which he used this material. So, yeah, she experimented within a lot of different colors.
Although we can't see them there. It looks all the same colour in that picture.
It does. But, you know, it's the Dior client. They have very simple taste, but very elegant. So the devil is in the detail. The devil is in the details.
Okay, well, we have seen a lot of Dior on the red carpets recently. The Crown actress Elizabeth Debicki was at the Dior show. She told us why she likes this classic French fashion house.
I think with Maria Grazia, it's elegance that is modernized. It's very classic, simple, but elevated. She does these two things so beautifully together, I think. Yeah, I think it's very empowering because when I wear it, I feel like myself. And then when you sort of feel like yourself, you can face anything, whether red carpet or the world or a meeting or whatever, you know. I think that's what she does so beautifully.
I don't know whether there's more and more stars as time goes on at these fashion shows, but if you look online, there are more headlines about the looks of what the stars are wearing to the shows and what's actually on the catwalks themselves. So let's talk about a few of them.
Let's get into it.
One of the main ones that I keep seeing popping up is Zendaya, who was heading to the Schiaparelli show, who had a new hairstyle. What do you think of her look?
I loved it. I think it's fabulous. I think she looks edgy. I think she looks very punk, very rock and roll. And, you know, Zendaya is sort of a fashion chameleon. Her and her team, La Roche, they are amazing at fleshing out this sort of image. And, you know, it's always a journey to see what she does in fashion.
Are we going to see those fringes everywhere now, do you think?
I mean, you know, Zendaya's a tastemaker, so you never know.
Okay, next then, someone else with a new hairstyle, J-Lo. What did you think of
Yes,
her look? And it
J-Lo
was
and her cute little bob. Yes, I think, I really love seeing her around Paris for Fashion Week. She's a singer, but also an actress. She really knows how to embody a character. So here, one fun fact is that this coat is made out of 7,000 real live rose petals that were kept alive with hummingbird nectar.
oh my goodness. How does she keep it alive now? Do you keep it? Will she be able to wear it again?
I mean, she's probably put it in an archive somewhere, hopefully, so other people can look at it. It's gorgeous.
Okay,
Gorgeous.
and finally, someone who the paparazzi love, Kylie Jenner, who is at Jean Paul Gaultier.
Yes, so Kylie Jenner was wearing this very beautiful Jean Paul Gaultier Simone Rocha corset dress with very beautiful translucent fabric over the top. She looked very ethereal with an updo like a Grecian goddess.
She certainly does look like a Grecian goddess. There's so much fashion going on in Paris. As always, really, one designer loved by the likes of Lady Gaga, Beyonce and Bjork is the Dutch brand Iris van Herp. And there's an exhibition on at the moment celebrating her designs at the Musée des Arts Décoratifs. Do you like her sculpted looks?
I absolutely do. There's something very scientific about them, something that really makes you lean in and really do want to do research about her inspirations.
Each piece of clothing really is a work of art, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It is probably an honor to own a piece.
My goodness. And that exhibition is on until April. And just before Haute Couture Week, we had Men's Fashion Week, some of the other fashion shows you've been to. And Pharrell Williams presented his second collection inspired by the Wild West. We saw a lot of cowboy-looking Louis Vuitton men. And tell us more about that show.
Well, the thing about Pharrell is that he's really a world builder. He comes with these ideas and these themes, and he really fleshes them out fully. As you can see, of course, the Western accents, the cowboy hats, there's beautiful turquoise jewelry. So, I mean, I think that the Louis Vuitton menswear clients will be very, very pleased with what they're about to buy.
Yeah, and I liked he turned up as well with his own cowboy hat, didn't he?
Yes, he did.
I was very impressed. One label, GmbH, used their show as a platform to call for a ceasefire in Gaza. We'll talk about the show in a minute, but here's the designer, Serhat Isaac's response to the question about whether they're worried about mixing politics with fashion.
No, because we're interested in the political and formal possibilities of fashion as a medium of intercultural exchange. As fashion designers, we're normally left to express our thoughts through clothing and leave the rest to the imagination. But we live in dangerous times where the precision of words is needed.
So that was from a speech made by the designers of GmbH. Tell us about the show that came afterwards.
It was a very powerful show. I mean, the emotion in the room was already high after they read from the Come September speech. And what came down the runway, there was keffiyeh jackets that were actually embroidered by Palestinian and Syrian refugees. There were sweaters with watermelons on them, which is sort of become the rallying cry on social media because of censorship. And everything was just very much within the theme of talking about Palestine, Gaza, and, what's going on over there.
It felt very timely and very interesting to see some designers bringing that
Absolutely.
onto the catwalk, because it seems like a different world often, fashion, doesn't it?
Yes. And it was a great way to close the menswear on that note.
Okay, we're running out of time. I just wanted to talk about some of the best looks on the red carpets at all the award seasons at the moment. You've picked out a couple of your favourites, starting with Ayo Edebiri at the Emmys.
Okay, so she wore this amazing black Louis Vuitton dress. At first glance, you're like, okay, it's a black dress. But if you look closer at the details, you have this beautiful sculpted bodice, and then you have the, it being in leather makes it really cool and edgy. And, for her, I really think that she's really having her breakout moment. And for sure, I can't wait to see what she does next with fashion.
No, definitely fabulous. And I think we've got time for one more. Rosamund Pike at the Golden Globes.
For me, this was so camp. It was like a continuation of her character in Saltburn, this sort of eccentric British aristocrat. And for me, the hat, the fascinator, shaped like an apple, it was so camp.
It was totally fabulous. Well, we're going to play out with images from the show and from Cameroonian designer Iman Aissi, a designer who was a ballet dancer, a model, and in 2020 became the first sub-Saharan designer to show at Haute Couture Week. He told us what it meant to him.
I always say it was a great honor for me, for the whole of Africa, all black people and all friends of Africa, because before there was no recognition. They want more in the future, and this is the proof. I've managed to achieve that, thanks to the French Haute Couture Federation. Thank you, France.
Okay, Louis, tell us a little bit about the designer Iman Aisi.
Well, I know that he really likes to nod to his roots. He lives a lot of things that are a nod to African ancestry. He uses a lot of African textiles, like the kente fabric, which is really amazing, especially to see a black designer doing haute couture with nods to that, because you really don't see that often here, especially in Paris.
Yeah, fabulous. Well, it's been a pleasure to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. I hope you come back and see us again to talk about some more of the fashion highlights here in the fashion capital. Louis Pisano, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us. There's more news coming up on France 24 after this.